November 27, 1973, a young nurse at King Edward Memorial Hospital in Mumbai, full of dreams and aspirations, also engaged to a doctor at the hospital, had no idea that this day would change her life forever. What followed was an act of unimaginable brutality, one that sparked a decade-long of legal and ethical debate in India. This is the tragic and haunting story of Aruna Shambag. Aruna Shambag was a 25-year-old nurse at KEM Hospital, Mumbai. On that fateful evening, as she changed in a secluded hospital room meant for experimental surgeries on dogs, a hospital sweeper named Mohanlal Bharta Valmiki entered. Aruna Shambag had called him out for theft. Then he attempted to rape her, but upon realizing she was menstruating, chose instead to sodomize her, which means to commit anal intercourse. Dog chain used to immobilize her cut off oxygen supply to her brain, causing irreversible damage. By the time she was found nearly 12 hours later, she was unconscious, her body surrounded by a pool of blood, cold, and her life irreversibly altered. Aruna Shambag never recovered. For the next 42 years, she remained in a vegetative state, completely dependent on the staff of KEM Hospital, who cared for her tirelessly. But as years turned into decades, a question arose. Was keeping her alive truly humane? Or was it really life? Or just a prolonged suffering? In 2011, journalist and activist who also wrote a book on her called The Aruna Story, Pinky Virani filed a petition under Article 32 of the Indian Constitution in the case of Aruna Shambag vs Union of India. She argued that the right to life, guaranteed by Article 21, should also include the right to die. Virani contended that Aruna had no hope of recovery, could not chew food, and had been bedridden for 36 years. She argued that withholding food would not be an act of killing, but an act of mercy, letting her pass away peacefully. But the KEM hospital staff vehemently opposed this plea. They had cared for her for decades, forming an emotional bond with her, and they refused to give up on her. The Supreme Court was faced with an ethical and legal dilemma. Should passive euthanasia be allowed? Should a person who has no chance of recovery be given the right to die, and who should make that decision? This was not the first time India had debated the right to die. In Maruti Shripati Dubal vs the state of Maharashtra, the Bombay High Court ruled that right to life under Article 21 also included the right to die. But in P. Ratnam vs Union of India, the Supreme Court took a different approach, ruling that right to life did not include the right to die. Then came the landmark case of Gyan Kaur vs State of Punjab, where the Supreme Court upheld the validity of Section 309 of the Indian Penal Code, which criminalized suicide, stating that right to life did not include the right to die. In its final ruling, the Supreme Court made a critical distinction between active and passive euthanasia. Active euthanasia, which involves deliberately ending a person's life, remained illegal, but passive euthanasia, where life support was withdrawn, was conditionally permitted in the rarest of rare cases. However, such decisions would have to be made by the High Court under Article 226 following strict guidelines. Aruna's plea for denied. The court ruled that since the hospital staff, who had been taking care of her for decades, opposed the withdrawal of life support, she would continue to live under their care. And what happened to Mohanlal Valmiki, the man responsible for this tragedy? He was not convicted for rape because he committed anal intercourse, because it wasn't recognized as rape, but for attempted murder and robbery. The current Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita includes it to be rape, but he argues till this day that he hadn't raped her. He served only 6 years in prison and walked free in 1980. He later claimed that the guilt of what he had done haunted him for life. But was 6 years of punishment justice for decades of suffering Aruna endured? On May 18, 2015, after 42 years in a vegetative state, Shambag passed away due to pneumonia.
Now, nurse Aruna Shambag has died after being in a coma for 42 years. The nurse who had been raped in a Mumbai hospital 42 years ago has now passed away.
Her case changed India's legal landscape, sparked a conversation about euthanasia, dignity in death, and justice for victims. It made us ask, how do we define life? And more importantly, when does life stop being life at all? Aruna's case is not just a legal precedent. It's a grim reminder of the safety concerns faced by women in the medical profession. Even today, cases of violence and harassment against nurses and doctors persist. A recent incident at the RG Kar Medical College in Kolkata saw female interns protesting against the unsafe working conditions and harassment by the hospital staff. The incidents highlight urgent need for stricter laws, better security, and a safer working environment for women in medicine. If we truly want to honor Aruna's memory, we must work towards making hospitals a safe space for those who dedicate their lives to saving others. Let's stand up for their rights, raise awareness, and demand change. What do you think? Should Aruna have been granted the right to die years earlier, or was the court right in preserving her life? Let's continue the discussion in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Lawly for more legal deep dives. And until next time, stay informed and stay empowered. Thank you.